विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोरा
वंशीवदन सुवासा
वंशी बदन शिवासा
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
यमुना तटचर गोपी वसनहरा
यमुना तटचर गोपी वसनहरा
यमुना तटचर गोपी वसनहरा
यमुना तटचर गोपी वसनहरा
रास रसिक कृपा मोया
रास रसिका कृपा मोया
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवरा
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवरा
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवरा
श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर
भक्ति विनोदाश्रय
भक्ति विनोदाश्रय
अमल हरिनाम अमीय विलासा
अमल हरिनाम अमीय विलासा
अमल हरिनाम अमीय विलासा
अमल हरिनाम अमीय विलासा
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बरा
विपिन पुरंदर नवनीन नगर बोरा
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बरा
विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोरा
वंशीवदन सुवासा
वंशी बदन सुवासा
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol,
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo.
Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo.
Bolo Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo.
Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal bolo.
Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo.
Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda bolo.
Govinda bolo, Hari Gopal 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 bolo.
Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda 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 bolo.
Govinda bolo, Gopal bolo.
Govinda bolo, Gopal bolo.
Bolo Govinda bolo, Gopal bolo.
Govinda bolo, Gopal bolo.
Govinda bolo, Hari 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 Gopal bolo.
Radha Ramana, Hari Govinda 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 bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hey bola Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Hari Bol Hari Bolo Hari Bol Hari Bol
Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Bolo
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Bolo
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Bolo
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Bolo
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gora Premanandi Ki Jai Namaste Narasimhaya Praladayane.
Namaste Narasimhaya
Sing.
Praladayane.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladayane. She wants to sing.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladayane.
Hiranyakashipurabhakshaya
Hiranyakanakalaya.
Shilatankanakalaye
Hiranyakashipurvakshah Shilatankanakalaye.
Hiranyakashipurabhakshaya Shilatankanakalaye
Hiranyakashipurvakshah Shilatankanakalaye.
Ito nishinga parato nishinga Yato yamita to nishinga
Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yamita to Narsimha.
Mayi nishinga Hidaye nishinga Narashina Madim Sharanam Prapade
Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narsimha Madim Sharanam Prapade.
Tavakara Kamala Pade Nakam Aduta Singham Kalika Hiranyakashipu Tanubringham Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare
Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare.
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare.
Jaya Narasinghadev Narasinghadev Jaya Narasinghadev Jaya Narasinghadev
Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev.
Hari Bol Hari Bol Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi Ki
Jai.
Jai Nrsingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol Hari Bol. So this is a very important time of the year. There are many festivals at this time. We did Sharad Purnima, and now we're doing Diwali, and we're going to do Govardhan Puja, but we also do Damodar Astakam. This is a very special festival that remembers the very unique and intensely loving relationship between Mother Yasoda and her amazing child named Krishna. So we sing this beautiful song called the Damodar Astakam, 8 prayers, glorifying that relationship between Mother Yasoda and Krishna. And you can see a picture over here of Mother Yasoda with her son Krishna. And Krishna is a Supreme Personality Godhead, but he subordinates himself to his pure devotees. And he can even appear as a child of the pure devotee. So Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj were very special devotees. Before that, Vasudeva and Devaki performed tremendous tapasya or austerity for 12,000 years in order to have Krishna as their child. But right after Krishna appeared as their child, Vasudeva had to transfer him to Vrindavan, and he exchanged Krishna for Mother Yasoda's newly born young girl, a baby girl named Yogamaya. And he brought her back to the prison of Kamsa, where he was being held in prison, and so that Kamsa would not try and kill Krishna, a newborn baby. But when Kamsa came down and heard that the baby was born, he thought it was going to be Krishna, the 8th child, who was going to kill him. So he came down and immediately grabbed the baby from Mother Devaki and was ready to smash her to the ground and kill her. But then he was shocked. It was not a boy, it was a girl. He was expecting a boy. And he hesitated a little bit, and then he smashed the baby to the ground, but she flew up into the air and demonstrated an amazing form of Durga Mata with 10 arms, holding weapons in each arm. And she told Kamsa, he said, "You fool, Krishna has been taken far away, and this prophecy that he's going to kill you will actually happen." And he got shocked. But he was actually a worshiper of Durga, but she manifested herself in the form of Kali Mata, with a red tongue sticking out and very ferocious voice and 10 weapons in her 10 arms. So Kamsa was completely defeated, completely frustrated, and in his confusion, he apologized to Devaki and Vasudeva because he had killed the first 6 children. The 7th child appeared to be, although it wasn't really, but appeared to be a miscarriage, but that was Krishna's older brother Balaram who appeared, and he was transferred to the womb of Rohini, another wife of Vasudeva, and she was living in Vrindavan with under the protection of Nanda Maharaj. So here we see Kamsa completely bewildered, and he apologizes for all the nasty things he did to Devaki and Vasudeva, and takes him out of prison. But his friends and his companions and his advisors were all demons, such as Putana and Dhenukasura and Agasura. And they told him, "Look, this was just an accident, and we can make up for this." See, that's what happens when you have bad friends. They give you bad advice. They said, "What you should do is kill every newborn child in your kingdom." So Kamsa became reinvigorated from his frustration and said, "You're right, I'm going to do it." So he went around and tried to kill all the children, but he didn't do it personally. He sent these demons like Agasura, Putana, Dhenukasura, Sakatasura, all the asuras. And they came one by one to Vrindavan to try and kill Krishna. And he was only a baby, right? But even being a baby, he maintained what's called ekarasa, all the power he has in his mature form. was in his form now as a baby. He appeared to please Vasudeva and Devaki. There are four superior rasas or nectarine relationships with God in the spiritual world. They're called servitorship and friendship and conjugal. So Vasudeva and Devaki, they wanted to always be with Krishna as his parents. So Krishna facilitates that. Now this is very special knowledge about what's going on in the spiritual world. All this knowledge is in the book called the Srimad Bhagavatam. It begins in the Bhagavad Gita and then it's expanded into the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no literature in the world like this. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Sikh Granth Sahib, the Jain literature, spiritual literature, and the Buddhist literature does not have any substantive knowledge of who God is and what he is doing in the spiritual world and what are the different relationships of eternally liberated souls with God. That information is only in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have it here, you can get it in 12 volumes. And you have exact knowledge of how Krishna creates the material world. The spiritual world, of course, is eternal. He doesn't have to create it. And why living entities like you and me have come to the material world. We actually walked away from God voluntarily because we became attracted to the material world and to act independent of God. That's our. That we're subject to limitations such as the laws of karma, such as time, such as the three types of miseries, adhyatmika, adhibhautika, adhidevika miseries, and so forth. So when we come, so that's the history of the appearance of Krishna as the son or baby. But he also appeared as Lord Rama. And today we're celebrating Lord Rama's return from Ayodhya to, return from Lanka to Ayodhya. And it was a most joyous festival because he had been absent 14 years. And the people loved him. And his son Bharata did not even think once to take over the kingdom. He managed it for Lord Rama. And he put Lord Rama's chappals, his sandals, on the throne. And every day he came and never sat on the throne and lived an ascetic life exactly like Rama was living in the forest. So if you compare Bharat to Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb was his son, right? He puts his mother and father in prison. He kills two of his brothers, right. Exiles another one, and he was a nasty person, right?
Yeah.
There's no one equal to Bharat in the history of the world. He didn't have one bone of hatred or vengeance in his heart. He was completely dedicated to Rama. So if you want your children to study someone, they should study Bharat.
Haribol.
Right. And then you learn what a real person is. And when Rama came back, Bharat immediately gave him back the kingdom. He said, it never belonged to me anyway, it's your kingdom. And then everyone in Ayodhya was in ecstasy because they loved Lord Rama. And he established two principles, Rama Raja and Ekapatni Vrat. He became an ideal king. And during his reign, nobody died, nobody got sick, because he was an ideal, saintly king. Now, if we could have had Trump or Joe, ideal, saintly kings, everything would be going fine right now. You wouldn't pay high prices for gas. There wouldn't be any turmoil in the country. There wouldn't be, critical race theory. There wouldn't be gender neutrality. None of that nonsense. Everyone would be happy, peaceful, and loving, right? Everyone would have loving relationships because the king is loving. So anyway, I can't tell the whole story right now, but you get the idea. This was the most joyful time in Ayodhya. They lit up the whole city with lights. They perfumed the streets. They had elephants walking through the streets with their big proboscis, sucking up aromatic waters and spraying it all over the place. They didn't have hoses and trucks and things. They had elephants. Everything was natural. Nothing was mechanized or anything like that. You see, there are alternative ways of living. Now, India lived in those alternative ways for millions of years. That's why you have over 1 billion people in India. They lived like that very naturally. They lived in self-sufficient villages. They didn't have to import anything. They didn't have to get anything from China, for example, right? All the junk that China sells today to India, such as plastic rice. Did you know that China exports plastic rice? It tastes and looks like rice, but it's plastic. Imagine what it does to your intestinal tract. So anyway, everyone was living happily. You would have 3, 4, 5 generations living together in the farms, and you didn't have one kid in Japan, the other kid in New York, the third kid in San Francisco that you don't see, might not see him for 5 years. No, they stayed with their parents. They stayed in their home and hearth, their ancestral lands, and they lived for millions of years very peacefully and happily, right? But now, because of outsourcing, because of IT, AI, and all those things, the families are broken up, they're separated, and the culture is dying, right? Anyway, we're going to reinvigorate it. And it's easier to be God conscious in America now than in India. Did you know that? What do you think, sir? Would you agree with that? Yeah, because you're in a foreign country, you want to see if you can educate your kids in this culture that you're bringing from India. But it's much harder in India today. It's much easier here to be God conscious. So anyway, I won't speak anymore. We'll have the Damodar Astakam. Can you give me the prayer? Oh, yeah.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
he has a question.
Yes, sir.
So I was reading this same story from the Krishna book, and my daughter had a question which I don't think I answered to her satisfaction.
That's why you should come here. You can answer all your children's questions. Go ahead.
So the question was, when Durga Mata says...
What? Speak louder.
When Durga Mata said that Krishna is already in
Yeah.
Nandagram, right, and Vrindavana, and the question was, why would Durga Mata do that and put his life in peril, and
Okay,
because of
so
which
I understand the
so many
question.
kids died?
Let
and
me
all that?
explain something to you. This is something that Hindus don't understand. Durga is a pure devotee of Krishna. If you know her history, she was created by Krishna and the Devas to kill Mahisasura. So she is like us, just like Surya is like us, Brahma is like us, Chandra is like us, and Durga is like us. Shiva's a little bit of an exception, but they are all jivas, individual souls who have the potential of having 78% of Krishna's qualities, of his attributes, his powers, right? So the difference between you and me and, let's say, Surya, who controls the sun, right? Or Brahma, who's the secondary creator of the whole material universe, or Chandra, who controls the moon, is that they engaged in acts of purification, and it's called tapasya, to attain the higher potential of the human being. And now you see what our real potential is. You could become, in the next life, a Brahma, or a Surya, or Durga Mata. Now, Durga Mata has a hard job. She's the warden of the prison called the material world. This is a prison. What happens in prison? You're limited, very limited. Your independence is limited. So our independence is limited to two things. Either we accept Krishna's instructions or we reject them. That's it. We can't will that the sun doesn't come up tomorrow, right? We can't will that I will never die, right? So we have those two decisions. And God knows, or Krishna knows, what's going to happen to us either way, if we go one way or the other. So in the same way, the state of Washington knows what's going to happen to you. If you drive, you get your license, you drive a car, and you stay on the legal roads, and you always, when it's 35 miles an hour, you only go 35 miles an hour. You can drive anywhere you want. No one's going to bother you. But if you break the laws, they also know what's going to happen to you. They're going to start by ticketing you. If you do it a second time, they'll give you a fine. If you do it a third time, they'll take away your license, maybe. Or if you keep doing it, even though they took away your license, they'll put you in jail. And in jail, if you don't cooperate, they'll put you in solitary confinement. This is the nature. This is what's going on in the material world today. We're all limited. We're limited by time. We're limited by the three types of miseries: adhyatmika, adhibodhika, adhidevika. Miseries of this body, miseries caused by other bodies, and miseries caused by cataclysmic events, tsunamis, earthquake, and so forth. And we're limited by lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. These things are all limiting. So, therefore, ultimately, we're limited by birth, old age, disease, and death. So, Durga, what does she do? As the warden of the prison, if we pray to her, Dhanam dehi, janam dehi, rupam dehi, 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 dehi. Gimme, gimme, gimme. So she gives. And then she either slowly or abruptly takes it all away, and you're devastated. If she takes it away slowly, you go crazy. If she takes it away right away, you're completely confused, and you don't understand what happened. Because you had a lot of money in the bank, now there's no money, and you're minus, right? Or you had everything you needed, and you had a heart attack, right? And now you're paralyzed. You see, that's Durga is teaching us. God teaches us in two ways. One, he speaks Bhagavad Gita. He comes himself, as he did 5,000 years ago, or as he came as Lord Ramachandra 1.7 million years ago. Or he sends avatars, such as Narasingha, such as Matsya, and so forth, to help people understand the right path. But he teaches in a second way. The second way is through Durga, through reward and punishment, and extreme punishment. That's why you're seeing every day, you read the newspaper or you go on the internet, you see there's horrible things happening in this world, right? Right in America, right in Ukraine and Russia, and all over the world, there are horrible things happening all the time. And you should ask yourself, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. You can answer, and I'll stop quickly. Does anybody remember, raise your hand, does anybody remember choosing to be born? Raise your hand. No. See, nobody raised their hand. Okay. Is anyone here choosing to get old? I don't see any hands. Is anyone here choosing to get sick? I don't see any hands. Now, is anyone here, unless you're crazy, choosing to die? So you see, these four things are not things that you chose. They're forced on us. That means we are not independent. That means that we have done something wrong in the past and we can't remember it. And we're doing the same things wrong today, thinking that they're right, which means we're building up a very negative destiny in the future, right? So when you ask the question, why is there birth, death, old age, and disease, that's the beginning of your spiritual life, because you're going to have to find an answer. Just like if something goes wrong with the carburetor in your car and you can't start it, you don't open up the hood and say, I wonder where the carburetor is. No, you don't know. You have to call an expert, a repair guy. He'll come and say, oh, your carburetor is broken. It's $2,000 to put in a new one, right? It's the same way. You don't know. Nobody knows here why they were born, why they're getting old, why they're getting sick, and why they're going to die. You don't know. Therefore, an intelligent person, when he realizes what you don't know, what he doesn't know, he starts trying to ask questions to someone who knows so they can explain it to him. Because this is serious. We're talking about old age, disease, and death. We should think, well, this is the real problem. It's not Joe Biden or Trump or Putin or Zelensky. It's the fact that I was born, and from the day I was born, I begin to die. And I have to figure out how to get out of this problem, right? So when Durga Mata tells Kamsa, you're a fool. Krishna has been taken away and is safe, and he's going to come and kill you. She is helping him by saying that. So instead of him feeling, and at that time he felt very, 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 let's say, shamed and sorry, right? But then he goes and associates with his bad friends, just like your kids. They're going to public schools and they're associating with people that have a different culture than you do. And they trying to inspire your kid to, maybe it's good to smoke cigarettes. Maybe it's good to be gender neutral. Maybe it's good to take marijuana because it's legal in Washington. And maybe it's good to engage in illicit sexual activity, you see? So kids are they're the most vulnerable kids, and they're being bombarded today by all this nonsense ideas that are going around, see? So you have to be engaged. You have to be like Durga Mata, warning Kamsa. You have to tell your kid, listen, if you want to be a success, you don't become a success by smoking marijuana, smoking cigarettes, or having illicit sex. You become successful by controlling those things and engaging in acts of sattvic nature. Sattvic means goodness. You have compassion. You have empathy. You have patience. You have affection for all living entities. You respect life. You never want to interfere with anybody's life. And you have respect for elders, and respect for gurus, and respect for brahmanas, and respect for parents and grandparents. See, you have to have this culture of saman, respect. Then you become a real person. But if you think, oh, I'm independent, and what is everyone trying to do? They're trying to figure out who they are. So you cannot figure out who you are by listening to nonsense theories. You have to go back, just like in India they say, old is gold. Now you have a book called Bhagavad Gita, is 5,000 years old, and everything Krishna said is true today. And you look here at that panel, right in the middle. 5,000 years ago, Krishna said, don't eat meat, don't gamble, don't have illicit sex, and don't take intoxication. Fast forward 5,000 years ago to the United States and India today, those things have become part of the culture. People are doing this in a vast way without thinking about the consequences, but the consequences are right there. The statistics of how many people die every year from doing those four things. So take a careful look at that, because that's proof that what Krishna said 5,000 years ago is true, and the fact that it's become part of the culture today is devastating for the life of people. Hare Krishna. Namamishwaram Sachidananda Kunde Yasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajamanam. Yasodebiyo lukaladavamanam param jishtam ahyanta todrutya gopya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rudam tamuhurnetra yugman vijatam param boja yugmena satanka netram. Muhuswasakam pachirekanka kanta Stita gaivam damodaram bhakti badam.
Muhusvasakam patrireka kakanta Stita graiva damodaram bhakti bandam.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Iti Driksvalila Birananda Kunde Swagosami Me Jantam Akyapayantam.
Iti Drikshvalila Virananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam.
Tadiyesita Gesu Bhaktajitatvam Punak Prematastam Sata Vitivande.
Tadiyeshitaneshu bhaktairjitatvam Puna prematastam satavriti vande.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam rineham vare sadapiha.
Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va na chanyam raneham vareshadapiha.
Idam teva purnata gopala balam sadame manasa virastam kimanyai.
Idam teva purnata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kinmaye.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Idam te mukumbhajam adyantanilai Ritam kuntalai stigda bhaktashamande.
Idam te mukambojam atyantanilai Vritam kuntalai snigdha rakta वैशगोप्य
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तं दरं मे मनस्सविरहस्तं मलं लक्षलाभाय
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनसा विरास्तं मलं लक्षलाभै
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukha Jalabdi Magnam
Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magnam
Ipa Dristi Vristiati Dinam Pradanu Vihane Samamajnam Ediakshit Dristai
Kripa Drishti Vrishiyati Dinam Batanu Grahane Shamamadyam Edakshi Drishyai
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Kuvera Atmajo Badamudyaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha
Kuveratmajo Bada Murtaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajakrito cha
Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareya
Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namaste tu damne pura niti damne Tvadiyo darayata vishwasadamne
Namaste Sudamne Spuradipdiptamne Tvadiyodarayata Vishvashadamne
Ram Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Haribo.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari
Hari
Bo,
Bol.
Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Premanandi Ki Jai,
Jai.
Damodarastakam Ki
Jai.
Jai. So this is a very beautiful bhajan. It's 8 prayers glorifying this special relationship between Krishna and his mother, although it's his foster mother. And if we hear this prayer, it's very auspicious. So I'll read the first one and I'll pass it around. Other people can read also. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, and who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yasoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Shri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. So this is remembering the special pastime when Krishna was a very naughty boy. He went and broke the vessels that were holding. No, you read.
Okay.
Broke the vessels that Mother Yasoda was keeping butter in, that she churned. And he gave the butter to monkeys and to his gopa friends, or his cowherd friends. And she became very, very, let's say, disturbed that he did this. And she was looking at him, and he saw that his mother was seeing him, and he became fearful. And tears flowed from his eyes, and his kajal started dripping down his cheek. And this is an amazing thing, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he's appearing as a child. And the fact that he subordinates himself, and the fact that he actually is afraid. Fear is afraid of Krishna. Time is afraid of Krishna. He controls these things, right? But yet, Krishna subordinates himself to his pure devotees. That shows you how powerful pure love of God is. He will actually go to the level of subordinating himself, just like he became Arjuna's chariot driver. And he was the savior of Draupadi and so many things. He saved the Pandavas. He does all these different things because of the love of the devotee for him. So if you attain love of Krishna, you will attain the perfection of life, and you'll attain eternal life in the association of the Lord and the eternally liberated souls. There are more, the material world is populated with only 1/4 of the jivas, or population of people. The 3/4 of the people have never fallen down from the spiritual world. We're in a minority. We are in a sense, the people who have broken the rules, and therefore we're being punished by the laws of karma and so forth, birth, death, old age, and disease. So read now the next one.
Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his 2 lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
Go ahead.
Next. By such...
Somebody else? Okay. Go ahead.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbues with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopala in Vrindavana may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use to me of any other boons besides this?
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes.
O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kubera, Manigrava and Nalokuvara, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give me to your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation.
O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes.
Bolo Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Bolo Ram,
राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
Muni Manar Ranjana Bhavabhaya Vyanjana Muni Manar Ranjana Bhavabhaya Vyanjana Muni Manar Ranjana Bhavabhaya Vyanjana
Muni Manaranjana Bhava Bhaya Bhanjana
Muni Manaranjana Bhavabhaya Vyanjana
Muni Manaranjana Bhava Bhaya Bhanjana
Asura Nikandana Sitaram
Asura Nikandana Sitaram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Patita Udarana Jagajalatarana
Patita Udarana Jag Jan Tarana
Patita Udarana Jagaji Dharana
Patita Udarana Jag Jan Tarana
Patita Udarana Jagajalatarana
Patita Udarana Jag Jan Tarana
Nitya Niranjana Sitaram
Nitya Niranjana Sitaram
Bolo Ram Jai 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 Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram Bolo Ram Jai Jai Ram
Dasharat Nandana Suramuni Vandana
Dashrath Nandana Suramuni Randana
Dasharat Nandana Suramuni Vandana
Dashrath Nandana Suramuni Vandana
Dasharat Nandana Suramuni Vandana
Dashrath Nandana Suramuni Vandana
Chayatapa Vandana Sitaram
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय 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 राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम। जग सुख कारण जग जन पालन,
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 सनातन जीवन सीताराम,
सनातन जीवन सीताराम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो
राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम। सत्य सनातन मंगल कारण,
जग जय कारण मंगल कारण,
सत्य सनातन मंगल कारण,
सत्य सनातन मंगल कारण,
सत्य सनातन मंगल कारण,
सत्य सनातन मंगल कारण,
सगुण निरंजन सीताराम,
सगुण निरंजन सीताराम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम, बोलो राम जय जय राम,
बोलो राम जय जय राम,
राम ही पावन अति मन पावन,
राम ही पावन मन भावन
राम ही पावन अति 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 मन भावन
नर नारायण सीताराम
नर नारायण सीताराम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
बोलो राम जय जय राम बोलो राम जय जय राम
गौर प्रेमानंदी श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे बोलो सीताराम
हे बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे जय सीताराम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम जानकी वल्लभ सीताराम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम जानकी वल्लभ जय सिया राम
हे बोलो जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम जानकी वल्लभ सीताराम
जय रघुनंदन जय सिया राम जानकी वल्लभ
सीताराम बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम बोलो
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
हे बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम बज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
दशरथ के दुलारे राम कौशल्या प्यारे राम
दशरथ के दुलारे राम कौशल्या के प्यारे राम
हे बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम बज प्यारे तू सीताराम
बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
सीताराम जय सीताराम बज प्यारे तू सीताराम
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
जय सीताराम 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 जय सीताराम 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 हे बोलो जय सीताराम 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 जय
सीताराम 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 सीताराम
बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
हे बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
हे बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
हे रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो
सीताराम जय सीताराम भज प्यारे तू सीताराम
राम 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 जय सीताराम राम 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 जय सीताराम
राम 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 राम
जय सीताराम राम 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 जय सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव
राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम राम 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 जय सीताराम बज प्यारे तू सीताराम बोलो राम 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 जय सीताराम बज प्यारे तू सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
रघुपति राघव राजा Sitaram, Patita Pavana Sitaram,
रघुपति
Raghava Rajaram, Patita Pavana Sitaram, Ram 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 Jaya Sitaram, Bhaje Pyare Tu Sitaram, Bolo Ram 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 Jaya Sitaram, Bhaje Pyare Tu Sitaram, Jayo Raghunandana Jaya Shri Ram, Janaki Vallabha Sitaram, Jaya Raghunandana Jaya Sitaram, Janaki Vallabha Sitaram, Ram 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 Jaya Sitaram, Bhaja Pyare Tu Sitaram, Bolo Ram 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 Jaya Sitaram, Bhaja Pyare Tu Sitaram, Dasaratha ke dulare Ram, Kaushalya ke pyare Ram,
दशरथ के दुलारे राम, कौशल्या के प्यारे राम।
हे बोलो दशरथ के दुलारे, कौशल्या के प्यारे राम,
दशरथ के दुलारे राम, कौशल्या के प्यारे राम।
राम 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 जय सीताराम, भज प्यारे तू सीताराम।
राम 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 बोल सीताराम, राम तू सीताराम।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे
Hey
हरे।
bol Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
हरे हरे
Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
Ram Ram Jaya Sitaram, भज प्यारे तू सीताराम। बोलो राम 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 जय सीताराम, भज प्यारे तू सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम, सीताराम 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 जय सीताराम सीताराम। बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम।
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 बोलो सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम जय सीताराम सीताराम।
सीताराम सीताराम जय
Sitaram, Sitaram.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram.
Hey, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram.
Sitaram, Sitaram,
Ram, 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 Jaya Siya Ram. Ram, 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 Jaya Sita Ram.
Ram, 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 Jai Siya Ram. Ram, 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 Jai Siya Ram.
Bolo Ram, 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 Jaya Sita Ram. Ram, 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 Jaya Sita Ram.
Ram, 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 Jai Siya Ram. Ram, 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 Jai Siya Ram.
Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram.
Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram.
Bolo Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram.
Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram.
Sita Ram, Jaya Sita Ram, Bacha Pyare Chu Sita Ram. Bolo Sita
Ram, Jaya Sita Ram.
Bacha Pyare Chu Sita Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Vande Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hey bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Vande Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hey, bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hey, bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Jai Nandalala, Jai Gopala,
Jai Nand Lala, Jai Gopala,
Jai Nandalala, Jai Gopala. Shri Radhe Govinda मन बजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम रे
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन बजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल लाला जय गोपाल मोरा मुकुट शिर गल बन मल केसर तिलक लगाए केसर तिलक लगाए
मोर मुकुट पर गल बन माला केशर तिलक लगाए केशर तिलक लगाए
मोरा मुकुट शिर गल बन मल केसर तिलक लगाए केसर तिलक लगाए
मोर मुकुट सिर गल बन माला केशर तिलक लगाए केशर तिलक लगाए
वृंदावन की कुंज गली में न सबको नाचा नचाया
वृंदावन की कुंज गली में सबको नाच नचाए
वृंदावन की कुंज गली में न सबको नाचा नचाया
वृंदावन की कुंज गली में सबको नाच नचाया
राधे गोविंदा मन बजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम रे
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन बजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है
हे बोलो हे नंद लाला हे गोपाल
है नंद लाला है
हे
गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय
बोलो
गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय
हे
गोपाला
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाल
जय नंद लाला जय गोपाला
यमुना किनारे धेनु चरावे माधव मदन मुरारी माधव मदन मुरारी
यमुना किनारे धेनु चुरावे माधव मदन मुरारी माधव मदन मुरारी
यमुना किनारे धेनु चरावे माधव मदन मुरारी माधव मदन मुरारी
यमुना किनारे धेनु चरावे माधव मदन मुरारी माधव मदन मुरारी।
मधुरा मरिया जब बजावे हर से बिनारी।
मधुर मुरलिया जभी बजावे हर ले सुध बुध सारी।
राधे गोविंद मन बचले हरि का प्यार नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाल हरि का प्यार नाम है। नंदलाल हरि का प्यार नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। नंदलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
गिरिधर नागर खेती मेरा सुर को श्यामल बाया। सुर को श्यामल बाया।
गिरधर नागर कहती मीरा सुर को श्यामल भाया। सुर को श्यामल भाया।
तुकाराम और नामदेव ने विठ्ठल विठ्ठल गाया।
तुकाराम और नामदेव ने विठ्ठल विठ्ठल गाया।
राधे गोविंदा मन बचले हरि का प्यार नाम है। श्री
राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाल हरि का प्यार नाम है। नंदलाला हरि का प्यार नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। नंदलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाला।
राधा शक्ति बिन न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे। श्यामल दर्शन पावे।
राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे। श्यामल दर्शन पावे।
राधा शक्ति बिन न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे। श्यामल दर्शन पावे।
राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पावे। श्यामल दर्शन पावे।
आराधन कर राधे राधे कान्हा भागे आवे।
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 श्री राधे गोविंदा मन बचले हरि का प्यार नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
बोलो श्री राधे गोविंदा। श्री राधा लीला माधव की जय। श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। लक्ष्मी नारायण की जय। जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय। श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री प्रभुपाल की जय। श्री देवी महारानी की जय। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन बचले हरि का प्यार नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाल हरि का प्यार नाम है। नंदलाला हरि का प्यार नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल। हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
हे नंदलाला हे गोपाल।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाल।
राधे गोविंदा मन बचले हरि का प्यार नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा अमन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है नंद लाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
नंद लाला हे गोपाला
है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे
बोलो
हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
नंद लाला हे गोपाला
नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हे नंद लाला हे गोपाला
हे नंद लाला है गोपाला
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे
बोलो हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
बोल हरि बोल गोर हरि बोल निता गौर हरि बोल
गीता गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नीता गौर हरि बोल
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम 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 हरे
बोलो
हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol, Harinam Sankirtan ki
Jai,
Govardhan Puja ki Jai,
Jai,
Diwali ki
Jai.
Jai, all of you ki Jai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Prasadam ki Jai.
Hari Bol. End, because it's another day we're going to do this. So just get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the big Govardhan Puja. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.